are back. Shin Splints Part 2. Today we are talking about care and prevention. Be sure, go check out video 1 if you haven't seen it, because all of the information we talked about in that video is going to pertain to everything we talk about today. So today, 3 steps taking care of shin splints: rest, recover, strengthen. Here we go, let's talk about it. Step 1 is rest. Oh, I know, such a dirty word in the training world. But I'm gonna tell you a secret, and that is rest doesn't mean you're bedridden. It just means you gotta find something else to do for a little while. Because we're not sure what's going on, whether you're dealing with damage to the tissue or damage to the bone, or maybe just some inflammation. Each of those things has a different time to heal, right? So if I'm dealing with damage to the bone, it could take a couple of months to heal that up. If I'm dealing with just some tissue damage, it may be just a couple of weeks, at most a month. And if I'm dealing with just inflammation, it could be a little as a week. Okay, but especially with shin splints, since we're not sure what's going on, you have to rest. You've got to find something else to do for a little while to reduce the impact on the shin, on the lower leg, and get that to heal. So for runners or endurance athletes, it could be you're taking up biking or swimming or rowing, just something that's got a little less impact on the lower leg and maybe a little less volume. And then for CrossFitters, chances are you just have a lot of jumping, a lot of impact, maybe even running, and we just need to reduce that. So you're gonna have to tailor your conditioning sessions, maybe your strength sessions, whatever, to reduce impact and maybe cut out jumping for a little while and get the lower leg to heal, give it some time, okay? So that's step 1 is rest. Doesn't mean you gotta stop training, it just means you gotta find something else to do for a little while. Step 2 is recovery. And you can do step 2, all the things that we're gonna talk about in step 2, in step 1, while you're resting, while you're finding something else to do. So, a couple of things, we're gonna talk about elevation. I'll show you how I would elevate my feet to help move fluid out of the lower leg. You can do it before and after training. We'll talk about flossing, how you floss the lower leg, what flossing is, why it works, what does it do. And then I'm going to show you some things with a lacrosse ball to help treat the fascia and then continue moving fluid out of the area. So let's get into it. All right, elevation. Elevation is super important in helping get fluid out of the lower leg, and especially the lower extremities, because they are constantly subject to gravity. So, an easy one is just to use a wall. And I like using the wall because I can also get a little hip mobility in there, and as well as stretching my hamstrings, which could be contributing to your problems in the lower leg. So an easiest way to use the wall is to lie on your side, and you're gonna booty scoot your way to where your butt touches the wall, but your butt's still in contact with the ground. Booty scoot my way. When I get there, I'm gonna throw my legs up there. And from here, you can see I'm just letting gravity push the fluid down the lower leg. While I'm here, what I like to do is do a little bit of internal and external rotation, making sure I'm squeezing my quads. And this helps with the hip mobility, making sure all the stabilizers in the hip are firing. And then from here, another one I like to do is just to curl my toes toward me, and one by one, pull my leg off the wall as far as I can. You won't get very far, that's okay. Really focusing on the usable range of motion in the hamstrings. Usable mobility. Okay, and then same thing getting off the wall. You just roll to your side and you get off the wall. So that's using elevation. That is step 1 in recovery, getting that fluid back down to the heart and hopefully bringing new fluid back in when we get off the wall and we stand up. All right, 2 more tools for dealing with recovery in the lower leg. The first one is voodoo floss. I love flossing, it works really well for me. All of this is just a really long resistance band. You can buy this at Rogue, you can buy it at pretty much any fitness site. And how it works is all you have to do is you're just gonna wrap your lower leg and provide a little bit of compression. You're not trying to cut off circulation, okay? So you shouldn't be wrapping it too tight. I'm gonna wrap my leg. Notice I start at the ankle and I'm gonna make my way up towards the knee, making sure I cover all the skin. Just a little bit of compression. You're not cutting off circulation. You should still be able to feel your foot. All right, when I get it as high as I need it, I'll just tuck it in to itself. There we go. And now there's a couple things you can do. I like to sometimes write the alphabet. A, B, C. I promise I know my alphabet. Another thing you can do is you can stand up, you can do some calf raises, you can do some squats, you can do some ankle circles. You're just trying to work the range of motion and get the muscles in the lower leg to fire because you're moving fluid up from the lower leg up into the heart. And you're also giving a little love to the fascia and the muscles. It's kind of like a self-massage. You only want to have this on here for about a minute, at most 2 minutes, because you are not cutting off circulation, okay? You're not suffocating the tissue. And when you take it off, you just roll it off here. It should feel good because you are now having fresh blood return to the area. And that should feel really good. So that's flossing. Another thing we can do is use a lacrosse ball, and you can really use any ball you'd like. Something with just a little bit of density to it. Sometimes I have people use golf balls because they're smaller and they can really dig in. But all you're gonna do is just like you would if you were foam rolling. Make sure you see my foam rolling video. Or using lacrosse ball, and that you're just trying to find those sensitive parts. If I find one, it's kind of sensitive, I may push it in there, and I may hold it for a little bit and try to get that area to relieve and relax. I can do the front part of my leg, which is where most people deal with pain and shin splints. And I can also get into the calf. I can just simply come to the ground, so the ground, and just roll my calf there, inside, outside the leg. Just giving a little bit of love to the fascia and the muscle in the form of self-massage, as well as help get fluid out of the area that could be trapped. So 2 things I really like, lacrosse ball and voodoo floss. Get you some, because they are amazing. All right, so part 1 to strengthen the lower leg is just some very simple walking exercises. And we're just finding funny ways to walk so we can hit all of the muscles in the lower leg and strengthen them all. And you only need you, which is why I like to start here, and a little bit of space. So we'll start with a simple one, and that's just walking on the toes. Coming all the way up, do a little calf raise, and then walking on your toes. There's 2 ways you can do this one. You can walk all the way onto your big toe, where I turn my feet in, and I get all the way on my big toe, and then walking on your pinky toe. So on your toes, and then turning out a little bit. Now, we can also walk on our heels, where I pull my toes up, and I'm only walking on my heels. And then the last 2 I really like because they can strengthen the ankle and help keep ankle sprains away, and that's walking both inverted and everted. So on the outside of the feet, and then on the inside of the feet, which is very difficult, but is a good one as well. So that's a great place to start for just about everybody. You're just finding funny ways to walk. Do this for about 10 to 20 meters as your warm-up, or just as its own session by itself, working to strengthen the lower leg and get it back ready to handle some running or jumping or whatever we're trying to get back to. So part 2 of strengthening the lower leg requires a resistance band. Hopefully you can get to a gym, or maybe you have some resistance bands so you can do this. And all we're going to do is we're going to target a muscle called the anterior tibialis. It's the one right here in front. And we're just going to try to strengthen this guy, increase its capacity so we can get back to training. So I'm just going to wrap this band around the balls of my feet, so more towards the front of my foot. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an isometric contraction. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to hold for about 5 seconds. You can see this guy working really hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'll relax. And I'll do that for about 5 repetitions. Now, when you're talking about the anterior tibialis, you want to do isometrics. And there's a good reason. 1, it allows us to strengthen the shin without doing too much damage, right? When we do repetitions like this, and we're constantly contracting, both eccentrically and concentrically, we're actually doing damage to the tissue. And we don't necessarily want that right now because we're trying to get this area to recover and heal. So isometrics are the way to go. Now, another one we can do is if we want to balance out the lower leg, is we just need a little ledge. So I'll use my weight here. And we're just gonna do some calf raises. So I can do this single leg calf raises, which is pretty advanced because I'm holding all of my weight onto one leg, or I can start with 2 leg calf raises. And we just like to have a little ledge. That way we get a little extra range of motion. Now you don't have to do isometrics here, because when you're running, the calf is really contracting. Or when you're jumping, same thing, it's contracting. So you want to strengthen it from a contracting standpoint and not just a holding standpoint. But those are 2 exercises you can do, very simple, very easy, to help you strengthen the muscles in the lower leg so we can get back to training. All right, and the last part to strengthening is stretching. And I put this in the strengthening part of this because stretching does have the capacity to strengthen tissue, maybe not necessarily muscle, but we can strengthen our fascia and our tendons and make that range of motion a little more stable. So the first one I'm already doing is a simple plantar flex stretch where I'm sitting on my heels, allowing it to stretch the front part of my leg, that anterior tibialis that we've been talking about all day. That's a very simple one, doesn't require anything except you. Another one we can do is targeting the calf. And there's 2 ways. Once again, we need a ledge, so I'm gonna grab my weight. There's 2 ways to target the calf. Kneeling, where I allow my knee to be flexed, and then standing. And they actually target 2 different sections of the calf. So in this kneeling one, and I don't even necessarily need a ledge for this. I'm gonna use a ledge today. I'm just pushing my weight over top of my knee and forcing my foot into a flexed state. I can also do this without, and you see, this actually will target more of your Achilles and your soleus, which your soleus is down a little bit lower in the calf. And now if I stand, I will probably need a ledge or I'll need to lean really far forward. But if I stand, it's the same thing. But now I'm targeting higher up into the gastroc, which is a little bit different. And so those are 2 stretches, 3 stretches you can do. Very simple to help you with your recovery. We can also do stretches for the inside and the outside. So just turning out, applying a little bit of pressure, and then turning in, applying a little bit of pressure. Be careful when you're going in. It's just a little bit stressful. It can be stressful on the knee. So just be careful with that one. But those are all stretches you can do to stretch your lower leg. And then of course just some ankle circles, get you going. So stick with those before and after training. Those are always good ones. And that'll help keep the lower leg strong and stable. We have talked about a ton today in terms of shin splints. I have told you what it means to rest. I've showed you a few tricks in recovery, and I've shown you some drills to help strengthen the lower leg. So hopefully you learned some things. You have some tools now to help you out with those shin splints, and we can get you on the road to recovery and get you back to training. Be sure, if you didn't check out the first video on shin splints, go watch it because it explains a lot of what we talked about today. I've got another video coming out, how to warm up. I know it sounds trivial, but it's a super simple, effective template that will warm you up for any form of exercise, whether it's a long run or a back squat, doesn't matter. This warm up will work, so watch out for that next video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave me a message or drop me a comment. I love to talk to people, so don't be shy. I hope to hear from you guys soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.